Paris, France. The first trip overseas that Ashleigh Barty ever took came as a 13-year-old. Of course it was to play tennis. And of course, as it turns out, it was to Paris. The City of Lights was the site of the young Aussie's first experiences away from home and, for her, a scary glimpse at what life might be like as a full-time traveling professional tennis player. That life would prove too much for self-professed homebody, who would rather couch at home with her dogs than take a stroll along the Seine. And so, 3 years after winning Junior Wimbledon as a 15-year-old and being anointed the future of Australian tennis, Barty walked away, not from the sport but from the grind. "I never closed any doors," saying, "I'm never playing tennis again." Barty told reporters after winning her first major title at Roland Garros. "For me, I needed time to step away, to live a normal life, because this tennis life certainly isn't normal. I think I needed time to grow as a person, to mature. I left all of my options open. I think it was just a natural progression for me coming back to tennis. Naturally, Barty did return to tennis. As it happens, it was 3 years ago that she boarded a plane with coach Craig Tyser to Eastbourne, England to play her first tournament, an ITF 50K, in nearly 2 years. Within a year, Barty was back into a major final, this time in doubles with her best friend and mentor Casey Delacroix. The two had made 3 major finals together before Barty took her break, and now they were standing on court Philippe Chatrier once again in hopes of finally winning Delacroix a major title. Paris would once again be the home to misery and heartbreak. Barty and Delacroix were routed that day by Bethany Mattek-Sands and Lucy Safarova, 6-2, 6-1. Delacroix would retire less than a year later in April 2018. The final with Casey was absolutely gut-wrenching. It was, Barty said on the WTA Insider podcast. "For us, we'd come full circle. We'd started again, we'd made it to the final, and it was just taken out of our hands, I think." Needless to say, Barty has exorcised the Parisian demons with her phenomenal run to the French Open title. She is the first Australian woman to win a major title since Samantha Stosur won the 2011 US Open, and the first to win Roland Garros since Margaret Court in 1973. On Monday, she will rise to number 2 in the rankings, the highest rank for an Australian woman since Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley in 1976. Her triumph puts a perfect bow on what has been a steady but unstoppable rise as she built on her results from week to week. In her first full season back from her hiatus, Barty won her first WTA title in Kuala Lumpur. In her second full season, she won the then biggest title of her career at the WTA Elite Trophy Zhuhai last November. Now, in her third, the 23-year-old has won her first slam at Roland Garros, her first premier mandatory tournament at the Miami Open, made her top 10 and top 5 debut, and will sit less than 200 points behind number 1 Naomi Osaka for the top spot, and that's with arguably her best surface coming around the corner, grass. Can Barty pull off the Channel Slam, and become the first woman to win the French Open and Wimbledon back-to-back since Serena Williams in 2015? "We will go back to work next week," Barty said on the WTA Insider podcast. "We keep chipping away. It's a fresh slate. It's a clean start for the grass. And we'll just keep chipping away, trying to do all the best things and to keep continuing to try and put ourselves in these positions, because this is where we want to be." Hear Barty's full interview on the WTA Insider podcast below. Let's block ads. Why?